Elite Facts presents
8 signs that might suggest your relationship is falling apart. 8. Communication. One of the most important parts of any relationship is good communication. It's a fundamental part of any healthy partnership or marriage as you resolve arguments and decide how to run your lives as a couple. It may not go smoothly at first, but communication can be worked on and improved over the years. If your relationship with your partner gets to the point where one or both of you don't put in the effort to communicate, or you simply check out altogether, it's a clear sign that it might be all over for you two and maybe you should go your separate ways and move on. Without good communication, what's the point?
7.
You don't spend time together. Okay, so this doesn't count for all cases. If you both work jobs at different times and being separated isn't by choice, then this doesn't really count for you. We're talking about the couples who do what they can to avoid spending time with their other half. If your relationship was still in a good place, you'd want to spend time together. Movie nights, dinner dates, they'd still be options instead of distant memories. If your partner doesn't want to hang out, even when you know they don't have anything else to do, it might be time to start either pushing them into spending more time with you or finally cutting ties. We know it's horrible to say, but if you two aren't choosing to spend time with each other, then is there even a relationship there? Again, if your partner has certain things scheduled already or is working a shift, then we wouldn't worry too much about it. But if they've got nothing planned, are off from work, and aren't willing to spend time with you, that should indicate to you that your relationship might not work out in the long run.
6.
The thought of them or their presence evokes negative feelings. Okay, now this one is a clear sign that it's not meant to be. Admittedly, it's a bit extreme, but you'd be surprised at how many couples get to this point in a relationship. If simply the sight of your partner entering the room is enough to lower your mood and depress you, if even the thought of them deflates your mood, then this is obviously something you should pay attention to. It's probably the clearest sign that things aren't meant to be. Sure, if you two spend all of your time together, then maybe they won't be super excited every time they see you, but if your partner is looking more bitter than indifferent about seeing you, it's probably time to make a change. Same can be said if just the thought of them sours your mood. It's a good sign that your relationship is not working and something needs to change.
5.
Self-esteem feels affected. Admittedly, this is not an unusual thing to happen with couples at certain points in the relationship. Couples can knock each other down for any number of reasons: jealousy, codependency, fear of abandonment, and it's clearly not a healthy way to be, but it's not uncommon. But if this knocking one's self-esteem is constantly happening through your relationship, maybe it's time to make a change in partners. Clayton Olson writes on ThoughtCatalog.com, quote, "In a good partnership, people should lift one another up, not bring them down." If that's the case, you can try to talk about it, but if neither of you are willing to change your behavior, then it just might be time to call it quits and go your separate ways. 4. One or both of you has an escape plan. This should be an early signal. We know it may sound ridiculous, but if you know that your partner has a backup plan if things fall apart later in your relationship, definitely don't ignore it. For all you know, this could be a sign of things to come. But this isn't just restricted to your partner. Do you have a fully formulated escape plan in your own head? Well, there's a reason for that. It's easy to get caught up in these thoughts. Sometimes they are escape mechanisms when you feel particularly trapped. But if such fantasies arise more and more frequently and with greater detail, your subconscious may be sending you a strong message that it's time to get out. If that seems to be the case, consider putting your plan into action.
3.
Some arguments never get resolved. It's never good if you're having ongoing arguments, especially if neither of you are willing to budge. Now, obviously, don't call it quits if you two have a simple argument. Try to work it out first like any normal couple would. But if it doesn't look like you can repair the damage that the argument has created, then definitely take note of it. It's not healthy, and being unable to get past these kinds of obstacles is really no way to live. The inability or unwillingness to work on things is a clear signal that your relationship is falling apart. If you or your partner are no longer putting in the effort to truly resolve issues and conflicts, it may be time for both of you to move on from this relationship.
2.
You're both playing the blame game. Okay, once in a while isn't too bad. Let's be honest, a lot of us have played the blame game at some point in our lives in an attempt to get out of some sort of predicament. This is fairly common in relationships as well, but if it happens constantly, then that's not exactly a healthy way to keep your relationship running, especially if it's blaming your significant other about your life not being where you would like it to be. That is certainly not healthy for your relationship. We often think, well, if only he or she were this way or that way, everything would be fine. When we think this way, we're imposing an impossible ideal on our partners, and we're avoiding the issue at hand. What is going on inside of us, the individual, the one who casts the blame? Remember, your significant other is not you. They are a complex being with their own thoughts, insecurities, dreams, and fears, just like you. Don't be so quick to eschew responsibility. When you start to blame others mentally or verbally, ask yourself if you're avoiding responsibility. Ask yourself if you're being unreasonable, and be honest. Then, if neither of these gels, don't be afraid to speak up, and then be prepared to listen. If this doesn't work, then we're sorry, we don't know what else to suggest for you and your relationship.
1.
You won't compromise. We think this is the breaking point for any relationship. Well, aside from the obvious stuff like affairs and whatnot, this usually occurs in a relationship where one or both parties always think that they are right. We're not in the 1950s anymore. My way or the highway isn't a method that works in relationships today. And FYI, it never really did. If you believe you're always right, then you aren't allowing yourself to consider anyone else's opinion or perspective. You label it preposterous before taking the time to listen or absorb and contemplate it. Learning to compromise in a relationship is an effective method of helping to strengthen your relationship, as it shows that you're willing to listen to your partner's grievances and you're interested in coming to an agreement on how things could be improved. Learning to compromise will strengthen communication with you and your partner. We learn to sacrifice some things for the sake of our relationships, and our partners learn to do the same. In turn, both people feel loved and valued. Listening, speaking, not blaming, compromising. If this doesn't work and you're both too stubborn to come to a compromise, then maybe it's time to call it a day for your relationship and go on your separate ways. But you should at least try and put the effort in before agreeing to split up. And that's our list. Did we leave any out that you know about? Let us know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.